Hello, Sanford, and you are listening to Sanford Sports Radio. This is the Howler here with your man on the call, Jonathan West. And there's not a lot to talk about really this week, folks, as nothing of much interest took place with recruits except for one big thing. The number one tackle in the nation, Harrison Harlow, who was at the top of Sanford's board, during a call, from what I heard, I was not there to hear this call, but apparently during a call with Sanford coaches, from what I was told, said things such as, if I wanted to ruin my college career, I'd be there. Sadly, I'm a pro prospect. So I think that puts things into perspective of where at least Harrison Harlow sees this program. However, I don't see why he had to go that far. He could have just been nice enough to say, I want to go to a bigger program. I'm sorry. Things like that. I don't see the pro potential here at Sanford. Something to that effect. He didn't have to disrespect the program that way. And if you're going to say that to these coaches, are you going to do it to other coaches as well? That's just not something you want to do. I mean, I don't know much about that. I went Division III, not Division I. But it just makes no sense to say that to coaches and get this out there. That's not going to help Harlow's time talking to other head coaches, except maybe the big schools that he seems to want to go to. We'll keep an eye on where he's going as time goes by, but I guarantee right now it will not be here at Sanford. Right now, the recruits that seem to be very high on Sanford, we've got Shea Faraday, Jean-Paul Valley, still very high it seems on Sanford, as well as Joe Baker, the running back. There's a couple of guys who are still fighting with Sanford here. There's Boston College, who's fighting with Sanford with Byron Gerard. So keep that one in mind. Penn State has a very good lead on Sean Taylor Jr. from what we're being told. He really likes that program. Sanford trying to get back in that race, and I don't know how quickly that's going to happen. But there's not a lot going on. One thing, though, that a couple of fans were talking to me about, they actually asked if Coach Wolf and the coaching staff would take another look at Stratton. Conveniently, that night, Stratton's high school had a game. They watched some tape of that game the next morning. And I'll tell you, I saw some of the tape they were watching. That kid is talented. He is a hell of an athlete. They still aren't sure where exactly he would fit on this team, but I'll tell you, I think Stratton impressed with that tape. Don't be surprised if we're saying his name more as the season goes on this year, because he really impressed the team. They just aren't sure exactly where he would fit on this team. And once they figure that out, I think it's going to be fine for him. He's got athleticism. He's got the speed you want at nearly any position. It's just the question mark of where does he fit on this roster. And will he get playing time too? That's another big question I think this team has. Other than that, there wasn't a lot of big news with the recruits this week. Not a lot of words from really anybody at this point. It's early in the season though, so you've got to kind of expect that. So let's get into the bigger news, and that is, of course, the loss to Illinois last week, which, not a good one. Fans leaving the arena around the end of the third quarter, not even staying at the Den for the fourth. It was not a good situation. And one of the key points to take in were a lot of fans talking about how Tanner Patrick's performance went. And it wasn't good by any means. We've seen the kid play very well. Last year, indeed, he played extremely well. They weren't screaming for the benching, as I anticipated. A lot of people will be bringing in questions saying, when's he going to get benched? When's he going to get benched? We didn't get that. We didn't get that this week, surprisingly. What we did get was a lot of people questioning how good he could be. Personally, I think the kid has a ton of talent, and I think he'll be able to make it in the NFL as long as he keeps those decisions smart. If he makes the right calls on plays and doesn't force it, he's got a great opportunity in front of him. But we saw him force it too much last week. It's what caused a lot of the turnovers, but it was a very good defense. So there's that. Another thing, of course, a lot of people were talking about is how much they were excited to see last week's game. They were pumped to see it, and then they see what they saw, that devastating loss. Well, it's Big Ten competition. We saw what happened in the Indiana game. This team hung around against Indiana, but it's tough to take on that big a competition. It really is. However, when you played as good as you did last year, there are those expectations that come in. Now that Tanner Patrick has taken the role as the full-time starting quarterback, a bunch of other things, there are certain things that you got to keep in mind. So, we'll keep that in mind as things go on this season. But this week, it shouldn't be as big of a test. We're still at home. The Coyotes face Wyoming, a Mountain West Conference team. This is not Big Ten competition, ACC, Big 12. It's not a huge matchup. Oh, I'm sorry, not as big of a matchup as we've seen. Not to say Wyoming is not a talented team and that the Mountain West Conference is not a talented conference. You have teams like Boise State in that conference. Wyoming's a solid team. They've got a great quarterback that we'll talk about here a little later in the program before we head off. But the question is, how solid can Sanford be? That defense is going to have to play like they did last week. They're going to have to play tight, they're going to have to play well, and they're going to have to bring a lot of pressure onto Josh Allen. There's a lot of pressure on the defense this week, more so than this offense. Because if the defense can get the job done, I think it puts the offense in a really, really good spot. And then Tanner Patrick just has to make sure those mistakes don't happen. But that's easier said than done. We've seen it plenty now. And hopefully we'll come away with the first win of the year here in week 3. But that's a little wait and see for this weekend. However, it's a tough schedule for a couple of conference opponents here. You've got Marshall taking on Ohio, which in my opinion is a tough matchup for them. Boston College at Buffalo. We're sorry. Here at Sanford, I'm sorry for you. And Michigan State against Western Michigan, not a good sign for them whatsoever. Now, one positive to taking the loss last week. This is the only positive with having a loss on your record right now here in the MAC. Every team has lost a game. So we're all on same footing pretty much. So Sanford is fine. They're currently sitting at 6th in the conference right now. It's fine. We're good. We're still in the running. As long as they can put together some wins, they've got an opportunity in front of them. And the schedule's, well, not favoring them for the most part. But it's not bad until, of course, the big game week 5 against Oklahoma. The biggest game in Sanford College football history. But they've got a shot. Wyoming this week is a winnable game. And I would be surprised if this team plays as poorly as they did last week, this week. I'm sure Coach Wolf, Coach Riley, and Coach Martin all dug into that team at all aspects. I'm certain they did. But of course, like always, Sanford starts off this game as an underdog. Kirk Herbstreit always picks a team for every game, and guess who he picked this week? It's not your Sanford Coyotes. It is, of course, the Wyoming Cowboys. But I think this is the upset. I think this is definitely an upset game here. Don't expect a victory, just believe it's possible here. This isn't a dominant team. The biggest issue that they're going to have to face is Josh Allen at quarterback, an NFL prospect. He's a good, talented quarterback, but if they can bring that pressure, Big Joe Irvin, Elliott Flowers, Shane Townsend, and Deshaun Hollis can get in there, what's the quarterback going to do with a lot of pressure in his face? So I think this defense is going to run the show this week. You can expect a lot of that. And of course, a key component to this week is going to be Tanner Patrick, currently 33 of 19, 254, 2 touchdowns, and of course, the biggest stat line that everybody is keeping in mind, the 5 interceptions already on the year. Allen, on the other hand, 33 of 19, same situation there, 218 with 2 touchdowns, no picks to start the season. So it's a good look for Josh Allen to begin. He's just got to keep it up. Now, there is more than just Josh Allen to talk about. We're only going to be talking about him and another big playmaker this week, and that's Andrew Wingard, the senior free safety. This kid is deadly. This is what Tanner Patrick has to worry about, is Wingard. He can just stay back there and ball hawk all he wants. Currently, he's got 7 total interceptions in his career here at Wyoming. At Wyoming. He had 2 2 years ago. He had 4 last year. And he's already gotten 1 this year. So, Patrick has to be weary of him. He's going to be in that back of the secondary all night long. And as long as he plays smart, he doesn't try and force things down there, I think we'll be fine. And Wingard might not even come up with anything. And as long as that happens, and the defense plays as well as we saw them play on that front line last week, I think it's Sanford's game to lose. But I can say that as much as I want. We got to see it happen. Wingard's also recovered some fumbles, and he's got some speed to him. So don't be thinking he can't run. He may take one back if need be. Now, of course, the other guy we got to talk about is NFL prospect Josh Allen, the senior quarterback, already starting off on a solid foot, 19 of 33. A 133.1 quarterback rating. Thrown for 218 already. He threw for 17 last year. And the key component here is, can he play better than he did last year, touchdown to interception ratio? Tanner Patrick didn't do well, but neither did Allen, 10 and 14. So there is an opportunity for this defense to make some big plays off of Allen. He's not the most accurate quarterback. He's not the top tier talent, I think, going into the draft this year. So I think there's a great opportunity for this defense to capitalize if they can get pressure. You're going to hear me talk about the defense for the rest of this show because it is on them this week. If the defense plays well, this team succeeds. If the offense does what they need to, and Claude Fleming can get that running game going and maybe some option with Patrick, I think this team does perfectly fine, and we come away with the first win of the season at home in the Den. Because, we're going to do it this weekend. It's time to hashtag defend the Den one more time before we head on the road. So we'll see you folks this weekend as the Sanford College Coyotes take on the Wyoming Cowboys in what is really, I think, a must-win game. Hello, Sanford. You are listening to Sanford Sports Radio, and it is time for more Sanford College football. I am your man on the call, Jonathan West, and it is time to hashtag defend the Den one more time before we head on the road for 2 big away games as the Wyoming Cowboys come into Sanford to play these Coyotes, and I talked about it plenty during the Howler. You heard it probably one too many times. I think the defense has to play well this week. If the offense doesn't have to do too much, that would be great. Get a lot of turnovers on defense, set up the offense in great field position, even let Jackson Stone just kick some field goals. Hey, as long as we've got a rhythm going and points getting on the board, I think Sanford has a chance to win this game. Defense just has to play their heart out, and I think we'll do just fine in this one. However, it's going to be a tough one. Of course, Josh Allen, Andrew Wingard, we talked about those 2 players earlier this week in the Howler, and we're going to be watching them all night long as Sanford is ready to go this week. And I think I think that Tanner Patrick is more ready than ever to show he's not a turnover machine as we get underway here. Sanford will begin with the football as Sam Moore's going to return this one. He's got a little bit of room, cuts upfield a bit as that's going to get right past the 25 to around the 26, 27-yard line. And out comes, of course, Herb Fellows, the man we're keeping our eye on all year long. Had 41 and a touchdown last week. As it's 1st and 10, handoff goes to Fleming, and that's the way you start things off. 10-yard rush for the sophomore running back. Is Fleming looking to have a big year this year. And the fans are ready to see him get things going. We go back to Fleming on 1st down once again, a gain of 4 on this one. Patrick was not in the greatest of light with the fans last week. We'll see if he can clean things up and get back into the good graces of the Sanford faithful. As another run for Fleming, that's 3 straight on the ground. They are committed to the run early today. Only a gain of 1 on that one, though. It's 3rd and 5. They go play action. And that's Antoine Bradford on the reception. That's a 4-yard gain just short of the marker. And wait a minute, folks. 4th and 1. The offense is staying out in the field. It's early, and Coach Wolf's risking it. Option. Patrick, it's just enough for the 1st down. I can't believe it. The game just started, and Coach Wolf's already risking it. You got to give him credit for it. I give him a lot of credit for that. As 1st and 10, another run by Fleming. It's a loss of 2. There's Jalen Watson all over the sophomore running back there. 2nd and 12, they're in the shotgun. Tyrone Jennings is checked into the ball game as Patrick to throw. Tried to connect with Jermaine Dingle, but couldn't as he met a defender quickly. It's going to fall incomplete, and that'll bring up a long 3rd and 12. Patrick has to connect here. They go for the screen to Fleming, but yet that's bottled up. This Wyoming defense is playing extremely well right now. That's a big 4th and 13 as they have to punt it away. 1st and 10 now for Wyoming as Josh Allen can't connect on the play action. It was behind his intended target just a bit, and he couldn't hang on to it, almost intercepted. 2nd and 10 now. I said enough. This defense has to be bringing the pressure, and look at this. Shane Townsend forcing Allen to stumble a bit there as he wanted to run. He gets back to the line, but just barely as Hansen brings him down. 3rd and 10 now as this defense ready to go. The crowd is in it, it sounds like to me. They go to a screen on 3rd, and it doesn't work out for them. James Williams dropped 3 yards behind the line. Elliott Flowers, the man who brought him down. That's a big defensive tackle that just brought down that back. That's fun to see. Elliott Flowers showing that athleticism as the senior. 1st and 10 and good field position for Sanford here is a throw as he was hit from Patrick, and that's Andrew Wingard. Talked about him plenty in the Howl earlier this week. And a big interception. I believe that was intended for Rob Thomas. And indeed it was, but Wingard right in front of it. And I'm wondering if getting hit caused that to be underthrown or not. I'm not sure. But nonetheless, it's Wyoming football. 1st and 10, option goes to Williams there as they pitched it off. That's a 4-yard gain for the Cowboys. 2nd and 6 here as the man in motion is Dixon. He's going to go to the side now of Allen. They go option again. He pitches. That's Williams. And he's bottled up, but he gets a 3-yard gain out of it as James Bryant, the man that brought him down. 3rd and 2 here, and it looks like they want to bring some pressure. And indeed they do. Sanford brings it, and it's thrown away by Josh Allen. They're going to have to punt this one away unless they got a hell of a leg on their kicker. 1st and 10 for Sanford now on their next drive, and it's a nice run up the gut, gain of 4. It's a solid game for Fleming. He's seen the most action so far today. 2nd and 11 in the full house. Patrick going to throw here. He's rolling out a bit, and he connects with Jermaine Dingle on the slant. Great play, 18 yards. Exactly what this team needed. That is a big completion to get the momentum flowing here now. As Patrick able to connect with a man we haven't seen a lot of yet this year. 1st and 10 still in that pistol. They hand off now to Tyrone Jennings. And that is no yards as he just got back to the line. Jalen Watson has been all over these backs so far today. 2nd and 10 out of the shotgun. Patrick, they go to the bread and butter on the mesh, but that is overthrown, intended for Herb Fellows. Couldn't connect. A 3rd and long now. As they're going to play action, Patrick with time. Over the middle, that's Rob Thomas in the back. 5 touchdown. That is amazing. 63 yards straight to the end zone. Sophomore to sophomore connection. Patrick to Thomas. Hell of a play. Sanford on the board first, 7-0 folks, as Josh Allen and Wyoming take back over. Price with the catch there in the flats. That's going to be a gain of 9 for the Cowboys as they start to run this no huddle once again. 2nd and 1, option for Josh Allen. He'll take off and gets more than enough for the first. A gain of around 4 there. So it's a shock to see this Sanford offense score first, and now the defense might have some momentum as Joe Irvin was fighting to get in there. But a big play from Allen to Parker downfield. That's a 20-yard reception. So he cut in with open green in front of him. 1st and 10 play action for Wyoming as batted away. That's a great deflection by Flash Gibson. Surprised the sophomore didn't pick that and take it back. 2nd and 10 now is James Williams just bottled up in the backfield. There were 3 different defenders there. Finally brought down by Trey McLaughlin for the 4-yard loss. As it looked like first Bryant, then Tanner, and then, of course, Trey McLaughlin as it takes us to the end of the first quarter. Sanford up 7-0 early. This is a good start. You're listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Welcome back to the Sanford Sports Radio, everyone. It is 7-0 here. Sanford on top. As Wyoming seeing a 3rd and 14, and that one falls incomplete as it was dropped by the intended target. Sanford takes back over now after the Wyoming punt, and they go right back to that ground game with Claude Fleming, a 3-yard rush on that one. He hasn't found a lot of big holes today, but hopefully he can find those later on as Tyrone Jennings checks in and gets a 3-yard gain here on 2nd down. That will make it a 3rd and manageable coming up. 3rd and 4 here. I formation. Is Patrick going to drop back to throw? He's rolling out, going deep, and that one's nearly intercepted. I believe that was Wingard again on the coverage. That's a little too close for comfort there. Patrick's got to be smarter with his throws on that one. 1st and 10, and more play action for Wyoming is nearly intercepted. Ronnie Hansen had it in his hands. He should have taken that and possibly taken it back. As 2nd and 10, once again more play action. Allen can't find an open target. He just throws that one to the turf. That's a great play by the defense in coverage. Good job there, guys. 3rd and 10 as Allen checks down to Jesse Williams. He's brought down by the leader of this defense, Trey McLaughlin again, as he's short of the marker. Sanford takes back over on offense as Fleming to run again and only gains 1 yard. They haven't seen that effectiveness from Fleming today. I'm a little surprised. This Wyoming defense has been all over him. 2nd and 9. There's a nice connection to Fellows. A good spin move, but he got just caught by, I believe, maybe just the hand of the corner there. And Fellows had a touchdown. He had a touchdown after that very nice spin move, but got tripped up, and well, it only becomes 24, but a nice play nonetheless. As 1st and 10 handoff goes to Tyrone Jennings, who's checked in. That's a gain of 4 for Jennings. He's had a, well, mediocre day so far, only on 3 rushes, but he's had a good time just checking and giving a breather to Claude Fleming. Speaking of Fleming, he takes the ball for a loss of 1 as Malaulu, I'm hoping I pronounced that right, gets the credit for that tackle. 3rd and 7, Patrick connects with Harrison Frazier. He fights off a 1 would-be tackler and enough for the first. Gain of 10 on that crossing pattern. Good job, Frazier, on the fight there. So it's 1st and 10. Patrick takes off on an option. He dives forward and loses it. That's Wingard who picks up the fumble. And he's racing to the end zone. Fleming can't bring him down. 10-5 touchdown, Wyoming. You've got to be kidding me. And it's all because Tanner Patrick just didn't slide feet first. He went head first, lost the football as he was coming down. And Andrew Wingard, we're talking about him a lot as I anticipated, and he just takes it back. He's got a lot of speed on him because he's a hell of a free safety, but what a play. It's all tied up at 7 apiece as Tyrone Jennings takes it up for a gain of 4 on that run. 2nd and 6 coming up. Fleming checks back in the ball game here on 2nd down. They go option as Patrick gonna dive for the first down marker. Head first once again, but a 7-yard gain there. As 1st and 10 here, play action. Patrick looking for an open target, can't find one. Down he goes. A sack there, loss of I believe 13 on that one. Logan Wilson will get the sack of Patrick here, but no one was open downfield. Tanner tried to run free, try and get some more time, but couldn't find any. And 2nd and 13, nice connection to Deron Costello, and a beautiful spin move. We got spin moves everywhere today, folks. It's 22 yards on that reception, a yard short of the mark, as that's going to bring up 3rd and 1 now. That's a great play. 3rd and 1 as the first half is coming to a close. A nice check down throw to Antoine Bradford here, and that'll be enough for the first down. Gain of 6 on that one. 1st and 10, Fleming to the side of Patrick as they're going to set up a screen here. But Wyoming all over it. That's a loss of 3. As that was Wingard who came down to make the big hit. 2nd and 13, Patrick to throw. The wheel route for Fleming worked out for the best. That's a nice gain of, I believe, around 10 there. Out of bounds goes Fleming, stopping the clock. 3rd and 3, connects with Dingle over the middle. Good job. That is a great play by Tanner Patrick. Connects on the quick slant to Dingle right over the middle, and that speed put to good use. A gain of 20, a big first down. Just about 10 seconds remain here in the first half. Patrick looks to throw. Lobs it up in the end zone, and it's intercepted by Epps. Epps, I don't know how you pronounce that. But nonetheless, into triple coverage. 2 receivers were there. But nonetheless, just a poor throw on Patrick's part there. What should have been points comes away with nothing. As a final carry here for Jesse Williams. There's a nice power there over Ronnie Hansen. An 8-yard gain, and that will take us to the end of the first half. And it's all tied up 7 apiece at halftime. Sanford just has to make sure they don't make any more mistakes. We'll be back to the second half after this. Welcome back to the Sanford Sports Radio, folks. The second half has just begun as Jesse Williams takes a big handoff there, but takes a big shot from Richard Cruz, as that was a hell of a hit by the senior corner. It's 7-7 here as Sanford and Wyoming all tied up. Full house formation for Allen. Allen looks to throw on play action to the sideline and nearly intercepted. Richard Cruz was all over it. That would have been a pick 6 indeed, but sadly no. 3rd and 12 now. Allen to throw again, going deep. Cruz goes up and picks it off. And that's an interception that he should have had last play. At least he gets it this time. He's got 2 picks already this season. That's 1 a game averaging so far, and you gotta love seeing it from the senior. The number 1 corner making himself known this season, that's for sure. Tyrone Jennings takes the pitch here on first down. 5-yard gain on that one. Could be 2nd and 5 now coming up as they go into the I form, it looks like. Play action as Patrick looks to throw, and wide open is Rob Thomas on the sideline. 21-yard reception. Big first down there. No one was around Rob Thomas. Closest Wyoming defender there was really on the sideline. 1st and 10, handoff goes to Fleming. And that's going to be a gain of 5 on that one. Fleming's had a solid day. Nothing spectacular. He's just really done what the offense has needed, and that's to just keep things going. They go back to Fleming here on 2nd and 5, and he gets enough for the first, a gain of 7 on that run to the left side. 1st and 10 out of the pistol, and they're going to go to the option again as Patrick dives down as he gets his legs caught there by the Wyoming defender. That's going to be a gain of around 3. 2nd and 7 here, still in the pistol formation. Handoff goes to Fleming as he finds room on that right side, and a beautiful run. A little bit of power shown there at the end. An 11-yard gain for Fleming. Beautiful running there on that one. Play action here, and Patrick gonna take off. He avoids a defender into the end zone. Touchdown, Sanford. Tanner Patrick on the 4-yard touchdown run. He didn't see anyone open on the play action, so he decided to call his own number, and it worked out for the best as Bradford was open right at the beginning but got covered quick, and Patrick just makes it work. 14-7, Sanford on top of Wyoming now as the Cowboys look to respond here with an 8-yard run from James Williams to start this drive. 2nd and 2 here. Under center is Allen. Allen handing off to Williams again, and he is brought down. Trey McLaughlin stops him for a loss of nothing, for a gain of nothing there. Right back to the line. 3rd and 2 handoff goes to Williams. He finds more than enough room this time for the first, and even fighting through Jason Turner, who's a tough guy, for a couple extra yards. Gain of 11 on that one. 1st and 10, and it looks like the pressure's going to be coming. Indeed it is, and look at James Bryant, the sophomore outside linebacker, just bringing it to this offense as he just stuffed James Williams for a loss of 4. 2nd and 14 here now for Wyoming in the 5 wide. Allen to throw. Steps up but tosses it away. He had an open man from the looks of things, but I don't think he wanted to take any chances. 3rd and 14 now in the shotgun's Allen as Allen looks to throw. Going deep and nearly intercepted. That was redshirt freshman Pat Riley, the younger brother of defensive coordinator Mark Riley on the coverage. 1st and 10 here for Sanford, and they go to Bradford, and he's got more than enough for the first. The fullback takes it 20 yards on the full house run. What a beautiful play there. Goes off tackle, and just lovely to see Antoine Bradford run like that. It's another option play here. Pitch goes to Claude Fleming on 1st down, but he loses 3 on that one. A poor pitch choice for Tanner Patrick. He had a little more room he could have ran. Not sure why he pitched it as early as he did. 2nd and 13. Patrick looks to throw this time around. He's going to go deep, but that one nearly intercepted once again by Andrew Wingard. He's been all around that football when it's in the air. 3rd and 13. Patrick to throw, connects with Rob Thomas, and he fights. They're going to give him enough. That's a 1st down, Sanford. 1st and 10 out of the single back. Pitch goes out to Claude Fleming. He finds room. A little bit of power shown once again. Gain of 6 by the number 1 back here in Sanford. 2nd and 4. Handoff goes to Tyrone Jennings as he just runs into a brick house right away. Gain of 2 though on that carry as that'll set up a 3rd and 3. 3rd and 3, play action here is wide open is Deron Costello, and look at the big tight end go down inside the 10, down to around the 7. That's a big game for Deron. He's having a nice start to this season. 1st and goal. This will be the last play of the 3rd, and that's Tyrone Jennings on the reception. 8-yard touchdown catch. There we go, boys. Is now Sanford taking a 2-possession lead as we head now towards the 4th quarter. 21-7, Sanford on top of Wyoming. This is fun to watch now, folks, as your 4th quarter is up. Just after this, you're listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Welcome back for the final quarter of play here on the Sanford Sports Radio. It's 21-7. Wyoming, though, with the football as Josh Allen with a great run is a powerful just show of strength there. Pushing over the freshman Dustin Jordan, and I believe Ronnie Hansen as well. 1st and 10 here as Allen once again keeps it. And he rushes for another first down. Gain of 11. Allen now trying to put this team on his back. The no huddle continues. 1st and 10. Allen to throw this time. Checks down to Harshman in the flats as that's going to be a nice gain of 8. So that's a solid reception there as he goes out of bounds and this no huddle continues. 2nd and 2. Man in motion is Price. He's going to join that backfield. Allen pitches it off to Price, and he's got a first down and just a bit more. Gain of 5 on that run. 1st and 10 as it looks like this defense wants to bring it. They do as the screen works a bit. CJ Johnson with a gain of 6. I think they want a lot more seeing that the blitz was coming in. 2nd and 4. They go option again. Pitch goes out to Williams. Williams fights for that first down. He gets it, but takes a shot from Jason Turner. As 1st and 10, once again, the pressure comes in as Overstreet gets the handoff. It's going to be a gain of 4 for Kellen Overstreet. The first time we're really calling his name today. Overstreet gets another handoff brought down quickly, though. As 3rd and 4 now. There's no huddle keeping me on my toes up here in the box, that's for sure. The handoff goes to Hall, but he's bottled up. Milo Hall goes nowhere. Flash Gibson, the man who's going to get credit for bringing him down there. As it looked like the first guy there was, I believe, Moss. 4th and 4. This is pretty much the game for Allen. He throws to the end zone. Batted away and no good. Jason Turner was the man who deflected that one. Now all Sanford has to do is run this clock out as Claude Fleming takes the handoff up for a gain of 14, and that will eclipse the 100-yard mark for this offense today. 1st and 10. Jennings now in the carry. He finds some room, a gain of 5. Both backs getting involved. Tom Joseph was out for a couple of plays as Jennings had to take a rest from getting the wind knocked out of him. But we haven't seen him get the handoff yet today as a 6-yard run from Fleming. 1st and 10, I formation. They go play action now. Patrick looks to throw. No, he's going to take off. Dives head first again. Not a smart idea, but doesn't lose it and gains 5. 2nd and 5. Here's Patrick. Hands back off to Fleming in the shotgun for the draw. It's going to be only a gain of about 2 or 3. But a solid gain nonetheless keeps this clock a-moving. We're just at about 3.5 as a handoff goes to Tyrone Jennings, trying to get around the edge but can't make it there. Gains maybe half a yard, as that's going to mean they got to punt it back to Wyoming. The Cowboys have 3 minutes to get 2 scores to tie this ball game up as Williams gets the screen, and he's not going to go too far. 5-yard gain brought down by James Bryant. 2nd and 5 now as Allen setting up another screen. That's Williams again. He finds more yards, but only 4 this time. That'll be 3rd and 1 upcoming. This defense ready to bring the pressure, it looks like, on 3rd and 1, and they will. They go to the screen, though, for the 3rd straight time, and they got plenty of room. Williams with a 13-yard gain and enough for the first. Hansen the one that brought him down. Just over 2 minutes left to go here. Is Allen going to take off? And he meets, I believe that was Richard Cruz indeed, but he took a shot there from Trey McLaughlin. 2nd and 5. Allen to throw. They're setting up that screen again, but it doesn't get set up the way Allen wanted. He tosses it away as it's 3rd and 5 now. This defense has played strong all night. Can they keep it up? 3rd and 5. Allen connects with Kellen Overstreet. That's going to be enough for the first, a gain of 11. As 1st and 10, the no huddle continues. As Allen looks to throw. He connects. No, it's a drop as that's going to fall incomplete, nearly intercepted. Hansen was the man on coverage. 2nd and 10. Allen looks to throw once again. He's bottled up, though. Down he goes. So I'm not sure who's going to get the credit for that one. Looks like Otis Griffin, the backup middle linebacker, going to get the credit for coming in there. And he just destroyed the guard. Shane Townsend came in at the end there on that one. Great play by this defense on that sack. The first of the day. 3rd and 13 as Conway can't hold on. It's incomplete. And that's going to bring up the game on the line. 4th and 13. And it looks like a false start penalty is going to make it 4th and 18 here. And indeed it will, as Wyoming has to move back now even further. 4th and 18, game on the line for the Cowboys. Josh Allen, can you do it? So he's going to make a little bit of a change. Allen takes the snap out of shotgun, looks to throw, goes deep. And it's deflected. I believe Pat Riley had just a bit of his hand in there. He was a little bit over the receiver, but we'll see how this worked out on the replay. I'm getting it here in the booth. And we've got a better angle as kind of a little bit of the hand in there, but nonetheless. Now Sanford can run this clock out as the timeouts start to take off the clock for Wyoming. Logan Wilson there on the tackle of Tyrone Jennings for only a gain of 2. 2nd and 8 option here for Patrick. He dives forward again. I don't know why he keeps going head first today. It's a gain of around 7 there. That's a good gain, but 3rd and 1. Handoff goes to Tom Joseph, who's come into the ball game. That's going to be a gain of 6, his first of the day, and it will seal the deal as Sanford gets the first win of the day. Tanner Patrick did make a couple of mistakes, but he played solid football for the most part. The defense did what this defense had to do. They played a hell of a ball game. Richard Cruz with his 2nd pick of the year, and of course Otis Griffin getting that sack there late. Good play all around by this team. They played solid. They didn't make as many mistakes as they made last week, that's for sure. They were able to fight and able to catch this win. 21-7, Sanford over the Wyoming Cowboys. They defend the den finally this year. They get their first win of the season. They're 1-1 now, and they have a big game next week against Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. It's going to be a fun one Jean-Paul Valley may even be there as he lives in New York. And Syracuse is a school he's looking at. So that'd be great to get even more eyes get the punter in there to see this team play. But a big win nonetheless for Sanford here this week. We'll be back with more in the coming week with the Howler, of course. I've been Jonathan West. You've been listening to Sanford Sports Radio. We will see you folks next week.